You are welcome to the life in the world's richest country. Yes, this is America, but a world away rests the world's poorest country. Yes, this is Burundi, the world's poorest country. But how much is the gap between the world's poorest and the world's richest country? What is it like to live in such countries? What is it like to survive from such economies? Most importantly, what can the world's richest countries do in order to support the poor ones? My friend, these questions are more pushed me into a 4 weeks research journey. Just make sure you hit the like and subscribe button as I take you through what I was able to find out in this important research. Firstly, Burundi is not only known as the world's poorest country in the world, but is also known as the unhappiest country in the world. But what does all this mean? What do we understand by all this? How can we actually practically see this? My friend, 1 out of every 2 people in Burundi are actually unemployed, and if they are lucky to work, they are only getting $15 as the monthly salary. If this doesn't scare you, then wait. Remember, this monthly salary of $15 is actually waiting to support all the expenses of a family of about 8 people. But on the other side of the coin, how does the situation look like in the world's richest country, America? On the other side of the coin, America is found to be the richest country in the world. To shed more insights onto this, how rich America is, in fact, the average salary of an employee in America is about $5,000. Therefore, this is one of the key indicators that the gap between the poorest and the richest countries in the world is uncomparable. But let's first take this to a bigger picture. Life in Burundi is so bad as you can ever imagine. In fact, the entire country does not have enough money to run the airport. For example, it has been reported that the airport uses a demo software because it does not have money to pay the fees to run the airport's software. But further to add, 65% of the population in Burundi is under 25 years. But further to mention, even though children here, they like to play, but they can only play with toys made out of plastic, and also only 7% of the people have access to electricity. Therefore, to charge your phone in Burundi, you have to, the game of the day is to look for communal phone charging. Even though it's the time of iPhones, most of the people in Burundi don't own smartphones. So therefore, things like YouTube are just only left for the Americans and their fellow YouTubers. But the life in America is far different compared to what's happening in Burundi. For example, in America, the game of the day is to always buy the latest iPhones that are always coming out of Apple. And therefore, also in America, everywhere you turn around, you always have access to electricity, despite the fact being the countryside or despite being the heart of the capital city, New York. But what is the nature of housing in these two countries? My friend, in Burundi, there are homeless people everywhere across the country. In case it rains, people have no choice but just to stay in the rain and get wet. And also, such people, it's the time to take a shower when the rain comes. It is very common to find 10 people in a household in Burundi, but these people only have got 2 beds to survive on, and all the 10 members have to depend on the $10 monthly salary that is being raised by the head of the family. And still, all the 10 members are actually sleeping on the floor without a mattress. Also, having electricity connection in such a house is still an American dream for people of Burundi. But does the sad story in Burundi end there? No, my friend, the story actually still continues. Even though research indicates that 11% of Americans actually live in poverty, my friend, the situation in Burundi is much more worrying. In fact, over 70% of people in Burundi actually live below the poverty line. But how exactly sad is this, my friend? There are many people every day that are dying on malnutrition in Burundi. A person who owns a bicycle is considered among the most well-off people in the country. But why is this so? At least the person can be able to earn to use the bicycle, and they are earning about 9 cents to feed his family. Therefore, this person, in order to earn the 9 cents, they have to ride about 12 kilometers a day in order to earn a living to feed their family. My friend, the sad story in Burundi doesn't end there. In Burundi, there are about 12,000 kilometers of road alone in the entire country, but only a tiny section or a tiny fraction of that are tarmacked. In Burundi, my friend, whether you have a job or not, is not the ending of your begging. It's very common in Burundi to see everyone on the street begging, even though they might be having a job. Survival is extremely so hard in Burundi. In fact, if you do not own a bicycle, then you have to carry the goods day and night on your head in order to be able to earn about 20 cents a day. But how about those that are in the civil service of Burundi? Are they well off? My friend, the stories is still shocking. The sad story still continues and actually also stretches to the civil servants. But how much, for example, let's take a look at the traffic police officer. How much do you think they earn? Shockingly, they earn about $14 per month. Therefore, this is so miserable. In fact, they've ended up looking at only taking bribes as the way of survival. To make matters worse, this $14 earned by a policeman is still earned after working 24 hours. But life in America is a bit different. In fact, it's so uncomparable to the point that annually a policeman actually earns about $66,000 a year. But what is it to go to school like in Burundi, my friend? In Burundi, only 36% of the school-going children get to complete secondary education. But let's not forget that the majority of children actually never step to school at all in the first place. There is only one university in the entire country. My friend, some children walk up to 2 hours in order to be able to reach school. And also, to make matters worse, arranged marriages are very common in the entire country. It's reported that up to 20% of girls are forced to get married before the age of 18, and each family in Burundi averagely has about 5 children. But also, let's take a trip at what the research was able to find out about the health sector in Burundi. My friend, the situation is not good at all. In fact, there's only one doctor for every 200 people in the country. But even to make matters worse, about 2 million people that live in Burundi actually live all their lifetime and they never have to go to the hospital. But what is the situation like when it comes to the transport system in Burundi? My friend, the sad story still continues. In America, however, people are buying Cybertrucks and people are buying Teslas. But in Burundi, meanwhile, the main means of transportation are bicycles. My friend, it's very common to see a family of 4 on one bicycle as they're being transported across to the town. In order to attend a church service, one goes on a bicycle with the entire family. My friend, how about the situation of the water transport in Burundi? My friend, you can never find luxury yachts like the ones we usually find in America, but instead the situation is all about use of the wooden boats that are usually leaking and also life-threatening in nature. Yeah, that is it, a short trip to America at the same time to the world's poorest country, Burundi. But let us know, what can Burundi do, and also what should America do? But the biggest question is, after looking at all this poverty gap in terms of the economies and lifestyles, why is it that America is still trying to restrict the number of immigrants that are coming from Burundi and other African countries that are having similar problems to stop being resettled in the United States of America? Should America change the policy when it comes to its immigration or resettlement of Africans into the United States, or it should actually tighten things further? But let us know more and this in the comment section below. What can actually be done and what can actually be done to improve this situation? Otherwise, we thank you for being here with us. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button.